Let's do a little background. I'm going to assume that some of you might not know anything about AI and some of the terminology, and it can get a bit confusing. How can AI help us as DIY investors, you might ask? The main thing in a practical way is it can save time for us and perhaps improve our personal investing research and finance decisions. And obviously, I like to give examples, which I'm going to do later. Some of these terms you probably heard. Artificial intelligence we've talked about. It's computers and robots performing tasks that typically require human intelligence, anything from learning, problem solving, and decision making. Now, a term you'll hear is called machine learning, sometimes abbreviated to ML. That's a subset of AI where computers learn from data without explicit programming. It uses algorithms to identify patterns and make predictions. And the key bit about adoption of AI is that you've got to be able to use language that you and I understand. I'm not ever going to become a computer programmer, but I want to create applications that give me information for my DIY investing in a form that I can use. So that's my personal mission. Now, AI, I call these next two the terrible twins of artificial intelligence, and they are Aggie and Annie. So I think of them as two terrible twins, these twin girls. Aggie is artificial general intelligence, and that is systems that match or exceed human level intelligence and possess human-like general problem-solving abilities and adaptability. So you don't have to program all the rules into them, they can learn. Annie, the other terrible twin, is artificial narrow intelligence, and that's designed to perform specific tasks within defined boundaries, and that might be facial recognition, playing chess, programmed set of rules, if you like. And the one I mentioned earlier, a car with lane assist, that is Annie. That's a version of Annie. All it's doing is keeping you between the lines on the road. They operate within task-specific boundaries. So how is all this going to help DIY investing? Well, the first box is one of the most important, time saving. Now, I'm technically retired. I've got more time. If you're still working, time is a precious commodity because you've got all sorts of things to do. You've got your house and garden to look after, your spouse or partner that's going to take some of your time, and family members perhaps, hobbies. And somewhere in there is going to be a bit of time for investing, hopefully, because you're a DIY investor. So anything that saves you time is going to be a godsend. And also, it can customize your research. We've all got slightly different parameters. If you're a buy and hold investor, then you've got a different parameter from somebody who's more of a trader. You can specify these by using natural language. We don't need to be understanding coding. One that is in use already, there has been for some years, in fact, but it's actually got a lot better, and that is fraud detection. Everybody's using plastic cards these days, and there's very effective fraud protection running across all the millions of transactions, and they pick up things that look odd. Now, in terms of AI for investing, automation is where many of the big players get involved. You can automate processes and routine tasks. And that also works for us. We should be able to speed up our activities and save us time. These virtual agents or assistants can give us more in-depth analysis very quickly. So what are these virtual agents, these assistants? Well, basically, they're going to automate investing tasks like checking and analyzing announcements for portfolio stocks or stocks that are on our watch list far quicker than you or I could do. And the other angle to these things is that they can help with predictions. If given a set of rules and learning about investment, whether it be fundamental analysis, technical analysis, or styles of investing, they can help with our decision-making processes. This is a really interesting area. Real-world applications include things like robo-advisors using AI to provide automated investment and management services at a low cost. There are apps mainly in the States that are doing that. You've got algorithmic trading, sometimes called black box trading, based on complex rules and real-time market data. They're using a live feed from the market. And credit scoring, of course, is done with AI power. It's very quick and become a lot cheaper with these online systems. So there's a few real-world applications of AI that have been around for a year or two or three, or in some cases longer. The benefits that I can see for DIY investing are improved efficiency, covering research, analysis, and portfolio management. If we save time, you can either do a better job of what you're doing or possibly focus on other priorities, depending on your stage of life and your other interests. And of course, if they're interactive, you can ask questions and get detailed answers quickly in real time. The next bit to me is something really important, because you can train them to suit your own style. Using the buy and hold investor against the trader, you train your assistant, your virtual AI assistant, to be doing different things. They're programmable. So you can use natural language to tell them and give them information. If you can imagine you're looking up at the sky, we talk about the internet being the cloud. So imagine you've got the sky above you and your agent is a little spaceship floating underneath the cloud that can access the whole cloud. But in that spaceship, your agent, you can give it information that can teach it to look at things within a set of criteria, your preferences. And if you can then load it with information every time you send a request up to the spaceship, you'd send the request to analyze stock X, Y, or Z with information that you want it to look at. And you could tell it to focus on that information, but also use its training. It's very powerful. This is where I want you to meet Cedric, one of my research assistants. For those of you in the Portico group have already met Cedric and heard him speak. Cedric's been trained to have fundamental analysis skills, technical analysis skills, and to output the reports for me in a specific way. So he's an example of a personalized AI agent. For each task I give Cedric, I brief him with a specific prompt and I upload any relevant documents and charts. And the response comes back onto the screen and I can interrogate it. If there's something he's not covered, I can ask him to add it and format it to my requirements. That can be either for presentation through the Plaza group, onto the Slack channel, sent by email, put on the website, or it's my own use in my folder. So that's an outline of what Cedric's doing. I use Agent Cedric to analyze company RNS announcements. This is very quick to do, I promise you. I can ask Cedric to analyze a specific company report. It could be a set of results, a quarterly statement, a trading update, or other placing announcement, anything. And I'm looking for a speedy identification of items that might affect my decision to buy a share, carry on holding it if I already own it, or sell it. And that'll be based on my investment criteria. But at the end of the day, it's my decision. It's not Agent Cedric's decision. He's an assistant. He also helps with stock research. He can look at an individual stock and help me make informed investing decisions. I can train him to pick up the patterns very quickly. You'll all be used to me doing mixed radar and putting key metrics up and telling you about trends that I've spotted. That's taken me quite a long time to do that analysis and produce that report. If I train Cedric to do that very quickly, that saves me time straight away, which means I can look at more stocks, look at them quicker, or spend more time pottering in my garden, depending on the time of year, of course. And I can adjust Cedric's investment style to suit my parameters and preferences. And so could you. You could create your own version of Cedric. You train it to your preferences. What I've done with my various experiments is upload a chart and key metrics for a stock together with an RNS pretty much within a few minutes of 7 o'clock and have the analysis within 5 minutes to help me make decisions. If I've been looking at a stock that's on my watch list and I see an RNS come out and analyze it and it looks really positive, I'll have my buy order placed ready to go. When Barclays opens at 8 o'clock and I've got an order there, it's dealt with electronically very quickly, providing the stock moves the way I think it'll move, because they don't always. I've got in relatively quickly if it is a big up move day. If it's bad news, there's a warning tucked away. I might have a sell order in, and even if the stock gaps down at 8 o'clock, as long as I can sell quickly, I can hopefully cut the losses below coming in halfway through the day and realizing that it's gone down 30, 40%, and I could have got it when it was down 10 or 15%. I've also asked Cedric to analyze the SP500 using Elliott wave analysis and only Elliott wave analysis, and that was an interesting report.